Hello, hello, and welcome back to the Burnt Pancakes podcast. I am your host, Katie Fenske, and today I'm sitting down with my friend Tracie. She is a mom of two young girls, and they both do competitive dance. Now, as a boy mom, this is a world I know nothing about, so I'm so excited for you to listen as I pick her brain all about what it's like being a dance mom. Hello, Tracie. Welcome to the podcast.
Hello. Good morning, Katie. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm very excited as a mom of only boys to hear all about dance mom world. This is going to be enlightening for me. So why don't you start us off and tell us how old your girls are, and then just like a story of how you got into this dance world. Like, is it something that they initiated? Did you dance as a girl? Like, give us the lowdown.
All right. All right. So I have two girls, Isla and Mia. They are 6 and 8, and they actually both started dancing at the age of about 2 when they were both 2.
Wow.
They just did not competitively at the time,
Okay.
just kind of like the tap. They call it like the little combo class. They would do tap and ballet
Cute.
just once a week, just something fun that they both started. They would have their recitals twice a year, and just something fun that we did to just, you know,
Keep them busy.
Keep them busy, something fun. I danced only like for maybe a year as a child.
Oh, see, I would have expected like, because you
Yeah.
seem all in. I'm like, she must have done this for years.
And a lot of people that don't know me think that. And I didn't.
Oh.
When I was like 4, I think I did tap and ballet for maybe a year. And then my mom had my sister, and then that was it.
I get it.
But yeah, she was busy. And now knowing what I know, like I totally wish I could have danced my whole life.
Oh.
So I walked into this very blindly, but they danced up until COVID. COVID obviously shut everything down.
Right.
And then as things started to open back up, we were kind of like, okay, what activities can we get back into? Our old studio was still doing like some classes outside. They were masking, so I wasn't really big on that.
Didn't feel normal yet.
Like, it just didn't. And I just wasn't, that's not what we were looking for. Yeah. Didn't feel right. So my older daughter's best friend from school was going to the studio that we're at now. So it was January of, I guess, 2022.
Okay.
And she said, hey, it's Bring a Friend Week. Do you want to come and check out the studio? So we said, sure, great, let's go. So we went, I took both the girls. I think Isla did a hip hop class. Mia did a tap and ballet class. They loved it. They loved the teachers. We said, great, let's get back into dance.
You're hooked.
So we said, okay. So even that first 6 months, Isla did hip hop and ballet. So just 2 classes a week. And then Mia did her combo tap and ballet. So signed it back up in January. We're like, the studio is great. We love it here. June, we had our first recital. And all of a sudden, Isla, my older one, says, Mom, because her bestie Brooklyn had been on the competition team.
So this was not competition yet. This was
this is just recreation. So okay. rec and comp, those are like the slang.
Okay, but same studio. It's at the same studio.
Yeah. So this is at the same studio, but her friend Brooklyn, I think that was her like second year on comp team at that time. And so all of a sudden, Isla says, Mom, I think I want to do comp team. And I'm like, I have no idea what that means, but I know Brooklyn's mom, so I'm kind of like feeling her out. Like,
schedule,
what's the commitment? Like, what does it look like? Kind of asking questions.
What am I getting myself into?
Yeah, what's happening? Because you hear these crazy stories.
Yep. Yeah.
And I'd never seen the show Dance Moms. I'd heard about it. So I'm like, okay, so we do the recital. Right after the recital, they have dancer intensives every summer, which is like they go from like 9 to 12, I think, at the time. And they have like back-to-back classes for different styles of dance, 3 days in a row, just kind of get a taste of everything. And then after the 3 days, they have auditions for the next year. And I could just tell Isla was,
I want it.
And I was like, okay, all right, let's do it. I could just tell she was passionate about it and excited about it. And Mia did the intensives too for the littles. And so she did the audition. And then they don't tell you till the end of summer. But we
Oh my
knew we
gosh.
weren't really stressed at that point because we knew, okay, she'll be on a like beginner team. It's her first year on a comp team.
Mhm.
And they have a teenies team for like the littles. So I'd ask Mia, I'm like, do you want to do
Cute.
it? And at first, after that kind of week of intensive, it was kind of a lot for her because I think she had just turned 5. She was like, I don't know, Mom, I got to think about this. But she loved it, but it was just kind of
It's a lot.
overwhelming.
It's a lot.
And so at the end of summer, they were like, okay, here's the information. This is the teams. And so she decided she wanted to do it. And then Mia said, okay, yeah, I'll do the teenies. Cause I'm like, well, we're going to be here.
Right. You might as
So
well have them
yeah, I'm
both
like,
doing
if we're
something.
here, I'm like, it'll be cute. You only have one dance. For Mia, I'm like, it'll be fun. You know, you'll have just a few more classes a week. So we sign up, everything. I'm like trying to figure out the schedule. I'm like, I don't understand any of this. What's happening?
So this is after the auditions, they made the team. Okay.
Right. So they take the summer. So I think auditions were in June. The end of July, they announced the teams.
Okay.
So then I go in to sign up for everything. I'm like, okay, somebody help me. I don't understand what's happening because there's optional classes, then there's required classes, the whole thing.
Gosh.
So we get her signed up, but then Isla, of course, Isla is, I'll backtrack a little bit. Isla is like my go-getter. I don't want to say overachiever, but kind of like
Kind of a typical firstborn.
Yeah, very typical.
Okay.
And she's snowboarded since she was 2. She wakeboards, she's roller skated, skateboarded, like all the things. Because that's what my husband does. He's like very much board sport kind of a thing. And so she's like, Mom, I want to make Brooklyn's team her best friend next year. So then now not only does she want to take her required classes, she wants to take all these extra classes. And I'm like, okay. And how her schedule is set up, we kind of had like a lot of breaks in between classes. So I said, all right, let's look at the schedule. So long story short, girlfriend ends up with, I think, 12 classes a week.
Oh my God. Oh my
So we
gosh.
went from 2 to 12. And I think she only had maybe 5 required classes for the team she was on. I could just see in her eyes, like, this is important to me. And I'm like, okay, if you're dedicated to this, I'm here for it.
And like I with my son, it's like if you say you want to do it and we sign you up, you're going to finish it, you know?
Right.
And she's committed to it. It's not like she was committed.
Yeah. And she sounded committed. And then Mia decided after summer, she was kind of like not traumatized anymore about that week of just a lot. And she said, yeah, okay, I want to do teenies. This is
Probably
fun.
helps that her big sister's doing it
So,
too.
and yeah, I said, we're going to be at the studio anyway. And they had the cutest little group. There were 6 of them who are now little besties. And so we're like, okay, we're off. But still, I'm just like, hey, what am I getting myself into? What's happening? I end up being the team mom for Isla's team.
Oh, so they have team moms too.
Like it's kind of like a point person that kind of just sends out texts like for information. But I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, but we were all new.
All the veteran moms were probably like,
right. Yeah. But the manager was like, well, you're here every day, so it's fine. You'll be fine. Yeah, you'll do great. And I'm like, yeah, okay, this is fine.
And what is it, like baptism by fire? Just throw you
pretty
in.
Pretty much. And it was really funny because there was another mom who has 3 girls. One of them was younger than me, so she wasn't dancing yet, but her 2 other girls were dancing, and she'd been there like the year before. And I joked and I was like, oh, hey, I'm moving in. I'm your new roommate. So like, she was like my saving grace, because I'd be like, hey, okay, explain this, help me. But we were there pretty much every day together in the lobby with our girls.
Which is so fun. Like part of me,
so fun.
Like when my son goes to baseball practice, I'm like, that's my social hour too. Like I get to see my friends. I get to meet some moms. Like I don't mind that. I think it's fun.
It was. And it ended up being such an incredible year. I was so nervous. I was so anxious. And I'm like, okay, are they going to be crazy dance moms? Are people going to be mean? Are people going to be nice? Like, we've been there for 6 months, but just like I said, for 2 hours a week.
Right.
It was incredible. The moms on both teams were amazing. Yeah, it ended up being so fantastic. So
what is competition like? Is it, because like I'm used to sports where it's like, here's our baseball season, and then the season ends, we move on to football season. Is it like multiple competitions a year? Do you have seasons? Give me an idea of that.
Yeah. So for our studio, the season starts August, usually August 1st, August 7th, sometime in that first week of August.
Okay.
And then ends like, it goes technically to the end of July, but usually the competitions are done by like June. It's
So it's
technically
an
a
entire
year.
year.
It's pretty much a year.
Whoa.
But
Okay.
we don't start like this. So this year our comps don't start till March and end in June.
So you have a lot of time
prepping.
before like competition season.
Yeah.
Okay.
Last year I think they started in February, but this year how they lined up and everything, they start a little bit later.
Okay.
So last year each of the girls had 3 competitions on the beginner teams.
Are they pretty local or do you have to travel?
Yeah, ours were all pretty local. Usually LA, Redondo Beach, Orange County. I think those were the furthest. Yeah, we never had to travel.
Are there a lot of like
far.
rival studios? Like, are there multiple studios that you see at every competition? Like, ooh, that's the one that won last year, or is it like
I think that there is. Like, I was so new. We obviously I didn't know anybody, but I definitely like once we were going to a few, I was like, oh, I remember them from last time, or and I'd start to recognize other studio names.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a couple like local to us that we'd see here and there, but there's so many competitions, which I didn't realize that you don't always see the same ones at everyone.
Oh, interesting.
Same studios at everyone.
Okay.
So I thought that was interesting too. And I didn't realize that as well.
Like it's a very big world.
Huge.
Wow.
So big. Yeah.
Whoa. Okay. So you have 12 classes a week. How do you juggle that with work? You're a working mom. Your kids are in school. Is it mostly like evening classes, weekends? How do you juggle?
Yeah. So this year we just started our new season, August 7th. Isla made the team. Isla busted her butt. She made the team that she wanted to make. It was incredible.
Is it hard to make a team? Do like kids?
It was very stressful. It was very stressful. This year especially, we had our audition. So they audition every year, even no matter how long they've been there. And this year it fell. We had those intensives, and this year because Isla's older, their intensives were 9 to 2. Then our recital was that same week. So after that, she had her regular classes. She was in 6 recital dances. So we were at the studio like 12 hours a day.
Whoa.
A couple days that week. And all eyes were on her because they knew like it was the buzz. Like Isla wants to make this team. Isla's working really hard. And, a lot of teachers, Isla's technique is so great. Isla's working so hard. But literally like all eyes were on her. And the studio owner had been out having a baby, so doesn't know her well. But literally everybody, all eyes were on her. So I'm feeling the pressure. I'm trying to make her not nervous.
Yes.
So they had the 3 days of intensive auditions. She was invited to audition twice, which was huge, which was great, but also nerve-wracking. And then we had our recital that weekend. And then same thing, we had to wait all summer.
Oh my gosh.
So this summer it was like, okay, nail biter, because now we're like,
now you knew what it was.
Now we're vested and she worked so hard and we're like, okay, is this going to pay off for her? And
so if she didn't make that team, she would not be in the competition side?
No, she could have just made a different team or stayed with the old team. It wasn't that
this was the one she was,
but she worked so hard that she wanted to be on this particular team. Like they're her age. Her team last year, it was all new girls and they ranged. She was the youngest. She was 8 and it went up to like 13 years old.
Okay.
It was just a very different team. Whereas Mia, they were all the same age. She bonded. They had like they'll grow up dancing together. Whereas
that's what a lot of people say about
different
sports.
Experience.
They were like, you'll make school friends, but it's your like sports family. Like those are the families you start hanging out with. Those are the kids that become like lifetime friends. So
totally. And that's how Mia's team and those moms, like we're so close on Mia's team. Like we'll be friends forever. We like we'll have brunch and cry because we're like, we can't wait to watch our girls grow up. And we are so grateful we like found each other and like so incredible.
You're one day going to be dance grandmas together, right?
Totally. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, so fun. Okay. So back to juggling. How do you juggle this all?
So Isla made the team that she wanted. So this year she has 13 classes. Mia has 9 classes. So she went up in her classes as well because she got moved up to the petite team. Now they're not teenies, they're petite.
Cute.
Mia, so there were 22 classes total between the 2 of them.
What is your calendar? Just like
it's
multicolored, crazy.
It is like purple for one, pink for the other. Luckily,
you have purple and pink. I have like blue and green on mine.
Yeah. So we're there pretty much. We go straight from school most days. So like Mondays, we're there from 3:30 to 6:30. Tuesday 3:30 to 7, Wednesday 3:30 to 7:30, Thursday 3:30 to 8, and then Friday 4:30 to 6:30.
Wow.
And then typically they'll have private lessons on top of that on Fridays. Fridays is our half day at school, which is nice.
Oh, that is nice. Ours
get
is
out at
Wednesday,
12:20.
Friday. That's nice.
I know our school does it right.
Mm-hmm.
And Friday, their 2 classes on Friday are kind of optional classes. So if they're like really tired or we're having a week, it's nice that we know, okay, if we need a Friday off, okay, well, we're going to stay home and we're just going to chill, like if they need a minute.
Right.
But they do during the week, like they'll have a couple 30-minute breaks. So that's when, okay, let's do homework. Let's have a snack.
Yeah.
We do have dinner at the studio a lot.
Yep.
So we're definitely still learning to juggle with this new schedule. I was off of work last season. I had some back issues, so I was off, which I'm kind of glad in retrospect, getting used to that whole world. So I've gone back to work. So I work 12-hour shifts on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So my sitter picks them up and takes them to dance Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And then my husband usually switches out with her like between 6 and 7.
Okay.
And then brings them home. I'm not to the point where I leave them at the studio.
Yeah.
Mia's just still too young, especially Mia, especially the younger one. She gets
I was talking to some moms at baseball last year. So my son just turned 9 and he's the oldest, and we have some other moms whose kids, it was like, oh, it's my 3rd kid. So my friend and I always stayed at practice and these other moms are like, don't you just leave them? And we're like, at what age do we just leave them? I'm not sure. I mean, we're close, 9 years old, we're close, but I'm still like, I don't know.
Yeah. And Isla last year had a couple days where like she was just there and Mia wasn't for like a 2 or 3 hour stretch. And sometimes those days I would run and come back if it was just her, because I knew she was in back-to-back classes.
It's also fun to watch though.
I love it's fun to watch. And I just, if they need something, and especially me, like, oh, I just feel better.
Yeah. Do you ever get a day off and you feel like, oh, something feels weird? Like, why aren't we doing something? Like my son has football practice every day in August. So 5 days a week, it's practice. And then starting in September, we go down to 3 days. And those Monday, Fridays are like, okay, we have like 5 hours after school now. What do we do?
Weird.
How do we fill this time? I'm so used to like eat dinner, get to practice. Okay, bedtime, let's go.
Totally.
Yeah, it's weird.
It is. Well, and last season, Isla had Saturday classes. So we were literally there 6 days a week.
Yeah.
Because we didn't technically have classes Fridays, but that's when they would do all their private lessons. So we were there 6 days a week. So now on Saturdays, I'm like, wait, we don't have to rush off to the studio.
What do we do? That's why I feel like when we have a free weekend, it's like, I'm not used to just sitting at home. Like we're all getting stir crazy. We need to go do something. Yeah. Okay. So because they have so many classes, they probably form a really strong bond with is it coach? Is it instructor? What do you call them? Teachers. Yeah, teachers. Okay. How do you see that? Are they pretty close to their teachers?
I was really curious how that was going to be, because like you just hear all these different things. And they have a variety of teachers, but definitely, and it's different with some of them, but they definitely are very close with so many of their teachers. I mean, there's one in particular that was Mia's main instructor last year, that Mia went into last season so unsure of herself. And so not confident, and like, oh, I could do the splits easily, and Mia couldn't. So she's just like, oh, I can't do it. And this teacher would say, we don't say can't, but this teacher literally gets to know each girl on their level. And now Mia is thriving. Mia is confident in herself. She was the first one last year to know her dance without any help from the teacher. She's doing incredible this year and is excited and confident. And so now she has 3 competition dances this year and is just like believes in herself. Like she doesn't say I can't anymore.
So what a difference dance has made on her as a little person.
Truly. Oh. And most of the teachers are just very supportive and very loving. And there's some that aren't as warm and fuzzy, but they're still there to support the girls. But they're definitely closer with some than others. And it's just incredible to see that bond and that relationship form, especially last year being their first year. It was just so awesome to watch, because it's like they're their biggest cheerleaders, and
and they're with them so much. Like they're going to be a huge role model for their lives.
Mm-hmm.
So. Okay,
Big
what
time.
about competition weekends? Because I know last spring you were posting about competition weekend, and I was like, oh my God, it's from like morning to night. Like, how do you handle the weekends?
So that was another huge learning curve for us. And there's two different types of competitions. There's competitions that's just competition where we just go and compete. And then there's competitions that also have a convention component attached to it.
Oh, okay.
So this year, Mia, I think, has 2 competitions and one that's a competition and convention.
Okay.
And then Isla has a total of 6 competitions. And I think 3 of those have conventions attached.
You're going to be so busy.
So
busy. Are they
busy.
always at the same one at the same time, both your girls? Or will you ever
No,
have...
and that's they all go to, so the 3 that Mia are at, Isla goes to.
Okay.
So the thing that's tricky is, so we know now all the competitions we're going to for the year. We usually don't know till a week before, sometimes a few days before, who's performing when or who's competing when.
Got it.
So like the thing that can get tricky, especially having more than one, is like, oh, if they're competing 20 minutes apart, you have to get them both ready the same time.
Oh my God. Oh, because you have to do like hair and makeup.
You got to do hair.
Tell me about that. This is something I know nothing about. I once had to help my friend who has a little girl. She was getting LASIK. So she was like, can you watch my kids at night? Just get them ready for bed and my husband will be home, like, because she couldn't drive for the surgery. And so I gave the kids a bath, and then she got out of the bath and I was like, do I brush your hair? Do I leave your hair wet? I didn't even know what to do with girls' hair.
Yeah.
So what do you do did you have to learn all these like makeup skills? And
well, so random fact about Tracie, I went to makeup school between paramedic and nursing school.
No way.
So
you can do
the
it
makeup
all.
part was easy for me.
Okay.
But they have to wear fake eyelashes.
Oh my,
was a little traumatic. Well,
do they love
they
it?
like it, but at first, like just getting it, they would be like, "What are you doing?"
Yes.
So the first couple
eyeball,
times,
Mom.
and I was like, "Okay, but ladies, like, so now we have a great routine down, and it's much better, and it's much less traumatic." But we have to do makeup, and then we have to do hair. The hair part is same thing. Like Mia has super curly hair, so she's always just like, "Oh."
Yes.
You're like slick back, no flyaways, like perfect.
Oh my gosh.
So that was all last year, trial and error of brushes, hair products. And like by the end of the year, I was like, okay, this is what works for us. So I have
like you're a pro now. Like,
yeah,
this
yeah,
is
now
makeup. This is
now I've got it. Now we've got it down. So it does get tricky on the days. I think our first competition, they both had to be ready like within an hour of each other. So trying to get them both ready in the same time, and especially if they compete early, like that's where it gets like stressful, because it's like, okay, we got to wake up at 5 or 6 to be ready super early.
Oh my gosh.
Luckily, we only had that, I think, once. And then I think the second competition, I think Isla competed on Saturday and Mia on Sunday. So I got to focus and do
and then
one
you got to
day.
see both of them. Are there multiple stages? So like one could technically be on a different stage at the same time?
Some conventions there are, it just depends.
Okay. Because when both my boys are playing baseball at the same time, I'm like, I don't I have to see both their games. I don't like not being able to watch both.
Yeah. And it usually, I think because of the age groups they're in, I feel like they haven't ever gone even if they're on a separate like stage, it hasn't been exactly at the same time. Okay. But it might be close enough where like they both have to be ready at the same time.
Is it just one dance then, and then your day's over?
No. Well, last year Isla had 2 and Mia had 1.
Okay.
This year Isla has 4 and Mia has 3.
Okay, so you're gonna have some very long days.
So it'll be different. And then, like I said, the conventions are anywhere from most of them are 2 days, 2 to 3 days. Some of them are 4 days, depending. Wow. And so, yeah, it just depends. Like I said, we all wait anxiously to get the schedule. So it could be like at one of them, Isla's were both on one day, and then Mia's were the next day. But then I know last year, some of the girls that had more dances, it was like 2 on one day, 1 on this day, 1 on this day, which is, it's like good and bad, because it's like, okay, it's less stressful, but then you got to do hair and makeup every day. So, but we always, they release hotel blocks, and we usually book hotels So you're just there and you're,
they must
we gotta go
love
downstairs.
that. They're just spending a couple
my
days
girls,
with their friends in a hotel.
Yeah, it's their favorite thing because they just like hotels anyway.
Yeah, so, mine too. Like it was
like the funniest
I think we
thing.
stayed at like a Holiday Inn or something, just somewhere like wherever. And my boys are like,
yeah,
this is so fancy. Oh my gosh. I'm like, well, it doesn't take much to, impress you. How fun.
Yeah.
So is there a lot of like pressure on competition weekends? Do the girls like get nervous? Are you nervous when they're on stage? How are you feeling?
It's exciting. It's a little bit nerve-wracking, but like I always tell them, I want them to have fun. I don't ever want this to be something where it's, oh, you did something wrong.
Right.
There's a little pressure from the teachers, like do your best and smile. But I've told both of them from the beginning, if it ever becomes something where it's making you stressed out or you're not having fun, we're out.
Yeah.
Because I don't ever want it to become that.
Right.
Like, yes, it's great if you place, it's great, when you get your trophies, but that's at the end of the day, that's not what it's about.
Right. It's okay to be a little nervous.
Exactly. And they do. They get the butterflies, especially because they're new at it.
Yeah.
But and I do. I always get the butterflies for them, and I'm a crier. I always cry because I'm just like proud, and I'm like, I get emotional, like their first dance, and then like the last time they'll do a dance, we're like, oh, this is the last time they're going to do this dance. Like I'm crying because I'm like, oh, it was such a great year. The whole thing.
Yeah.
But more than anything, it just makes me happy because I just see their love and their passion for dance up there.
Right. And there's nothing really like seeing your kid out there. Like when I see my kid up to bat, I'm like sweating bullets. I am probably more nervous than him, but it's just like, that's my kid out there. Like there's so much pride in that. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I'm so proud. And I always tell them, I said, if you're nervous, send your butterflies to me and I'll have your butterflies.
I got plenty for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
How cute. Okay. Let's talk about pricing because this sounds like a very expensive hobby to get into. What does it look like?
It is not cheap. I will say that. We have our monthly tuition, which our monthly tuition now that the girls have that many classes is $700.
Wow.
Which is a lot. They do, I will say, they both do dancer Pilates, which is one of their optional classes, which is a little extra above like normal tuition because it just really helps them with their strength, with their flexibility and all of that. But Isla took it last year and it was so great for her that Mia also added it this year. So that's like our base flat rate.
There you go. But it's like when they are doing something they love, I'm like, I would forgo like buying new clothes and doing this because these are my kids.
It's so worth it. So that's like our monthly tuition. Private lessons range anywhere from 85 to like 120 an hour. And my girls do them pretty regularly.
Oh, I should get into dance instructing. Man,
I
wish I knew
that. You pay the instructor and then you pay the rental fee for the studio.
Yeah.
And then you have so many other things. So like they'll have a costume for each dance.
Okay.
Which that ranges, it depends on if it's bought from a catalog or if it's custom made.
Does the teacher pick those or? Yeah. Okay.
The teacher picks the costume and then, so like last year, Mia's was custom made. Wow. And then hers was like $250 and then we had to rhinestone it. So wow. That was scary, but now it's fun. If they're out of a catalog, they're more close to like 80 to 100. And then sometimes we add rhinestone. So that varies. And that varies by studio, that varies by teacher. Typically you don't have to buy shoes other than like if you're doing hip hop, they'll have to have some kind of tennis shoes that will go with the outfit.
Okay.
But if it's jazz or whatever, they usually just need their pirouettes, which they use in class, and those are pretty inexpensive.
Okay.
If there's any accessories or props, that's usually pretty minimal too. But then there's,
I know nothing about this world. I'm like, this is so foreign to me.
But then there's like every
hair
competition has this fee. Yeah, hair and makeup, which like I said, that's not like, that's kind of a one time and then that lasts for a while. And then like we have to have their warm-ups, which is like a jacket and pants that has like their name and the studio name, which they wear for awards at every competition.
Okay.
But that, will last them a few years. Like everybody buys a like bigger size, so it'll last them.
Okay.
Their duffel bag, which is kind of optional, but just has their name on it. But then every competition, there's a fee per dancer, which is usually around $75.
Okay.
A travel fee for the studio per dancer, which is like $35.
Oh my God.
And then if they do a solo, so that's a whole other thing, which I was still trying to decide. If there's a solo fee for each competition. And then when there's a convention, then you have to pay for the convention per dancer, which is anywhere from like $200 to $350 per dancer, depending on the convention. And that's all set by the convention. Those things aren't set by that's for the convention and the competitions. All those prices are set.
Do you ever have one in Anaheim? Because there's the Anaheim convention by us. Yeah. Okay.
And we actually have, I think, at least 2 in Anaheim this year, maybe 3.
You'll have to let me know. I'll probably have to meet you there. I don't think you can sneak away, but that'd be so fun.
But yeah, we do. And I think that's the most of it. But yeah, it's kind of it adds up, but it's. And then obviously, then the travel fees, obviously, because if you're staying in the hotel, which you don't have to stay in the hotel. I mean, there are some people that, if it's depending on how far it is, will drive. Yeah. If there's a convention, because in the convention, it's like, oh, you have classes from, 8 to 1, and then you're competing after. Usually people always stay at the hotel for that. Mm-hmm. If it's only in LA, they may drive back and forth to home. Like the hotel thing isn't mandatory, and usually they'll have room blocks discounted for the conventions and the competitions. Yeah. For me, especially having 2 of them and not being great in the morning, we usually always do the hotel, unless it's super, super, super close, because it just makes it less stressful and easier. Yeah.
You're there, you're ready to go.
Yeah. And then we have our, it's called a dream duffel, which is this giant rolling suitcase that has like a clothes hanger.
Oh, wow.
That hangs their, the costumes in their garment bags. A seat. I have a pop-up changing tent.
You sound like a pro already. You've done it.
I learned a lot last year. Okay. I learned a lot would pick up things from all the moms, and
hence why you started the Dance Mom Diaries, right? Isn't that what it's called?
Yes. Yes. I did because I was like, you know what? I learned a lot by living at the studio this year.
Did you ever do like a day in the life of a competition video? That would be so
but I want to do that this year because I think it would be fun.
Get someone else to just follow you with a camera.
Totally.
This is what happened.
This is what we do. We wake up and I think it would be
like makeup tutorials. That's something I would like have no idea what to do.
Yeah.
But I've done my own makeup, let alone.
I've done I have an Amazon list with like stuff we use, and I've made up like a competition list. Check bag.
That's brilliant.
Or competition bag checklists and stuff.
Such a good idea. Kind of like when you're packing your hospital bag for birth, but like that's a great idea.
Things that you're like, oh my gosh. And I've had so many people like, oh, nobody has this. I'm like, got it.
I have everything in this Mary Poppins bag.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
So funny. Okay, so what age does this go up to? Do kids go, or girls go until high school, and then they join like the high school dance team, or?
Yep.
So you
our studio has all the way up through seniors. Yep. And then our seniors, a lot of them are on the high school dance team and our dance team.
Whoa. Okay.
And some of these girls at our studio have been there since they were little, and it's so cool. And it's been cool these last 2 years to watch the seniors, who now this year I've known better, but our first year, like, it's emotional to just watch them even in their last dance and their last.
Oh my gosh, their last dance.
It's incredible. It's incredible. And then every Christmas, our studio puts on a full production of the Nutcracker, which our girls, this will be their second year. Yeah. Also just like gorgeous and beautiful. And then the seniors, get the lead roles, and it's just.
Oh my gosh. So last year at our closing day ceremony of baseball, they brought out all the boys who had been playing since T-ball. And I looked over at a mom. I'm like, I think I want to cry for these moms, because it was just like, this is their last time that you're going to watch them play Little League. Like, next they're off to high school. Like, I can't even imagine.
Exactly. So you totally get it. Yeah. You just see them and you're like, that's going to be our boys before you know it.
Oh my God. Right. It seems like it's going to take forever, but it's like, snap.
No, it's going to be 2 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay. I have learned so much. This is fascinating to me. What would you, if you were to give some advice to parents that are like just starting off in this world, what advice do you have for them?
Don't be scared by like the rumors that you hear, number one, because I don't think on a whole, like the show's not real in most studios.
What are some of the rumors? What rumors
just
do
that,
you?
Like that, oh, it's so competitive and everyone's mean to each other and the girls don't get along and the moms fight. And on a whole, I do not think that there's truth to that.
There's so much good,
yeah, there's little drama here and there and little things, but
like
that's
in
everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Everywhere. I'm sure that's it in sports, that's it at work, that's it in life. Like, but the reality of it is so good for the girls, for their health, for their mindset, for their growth, just for their friendships. It's so incredible. And I can't say enough good things. Like, it's worth every penny. And there's, ways to start off slow. You can start taking rec classes first. And that's another thing. Most studios, pretty much every studio, I think, will do free classes. Like, let them try what they like.
And see if it's an investment you want to make.
And see if they like it. And start out, doing, 6 months or a year of the recreational classes and see what style they like. And a lot of the competition dances are optional. You don't necessarily have to do 3 or 4. You can do 1. Oh. Even if you're on comp team, they'll usually have, depending on the team, this is required, but hip hop's optional or whatever it may be.
Interesting. I would love to see a hip hop dance. That'd be so cute.
Oh my gosh, it's so fun.
So fun.
Yeah.
I probably would be all about it, but then my own moves, I'm like, I don't think I could do what my kids.
All of us moms stand outside when we're watching them do hip hop, and we're like, "This is the cutest thing ever."
I wish I could.
And we wish we could do that, but we need 4 shots of tequila, and we still want no one watching, and we still look nothing like that.
Oh, that's hilarious. Oh, well, this was so fun. I love hearing about this. Why don't you tell us because you do have some resources coming. Yes. If people wanted to learn more about your dance mom life, where can we find you?
I am on Instagram at the Dance Mom Diaries, and my website is launching soon. It might be by the time this podcast airs.
Whenever it comes out, I'll add it to the show notes.
So
do you have it named though, right?
It is. I do have the domain, so it will be thedancemomdiaries.com.
Awesome.
And I will have a freebie, which is like the competition checklist. And in my Instagram, I have a link tree with my Amazon list of just all the products and helpful things that we've
everything to put in your bag.
For us, all the things.
Oh my gosh, so
but it's a newer Instagram because I just wanted to share our story and our journey, and it's an incredible thing for the kids, for the moms, for everything. And I'm grateful that we found this life. It's crazy, but it's so much fun.
Crazy life, but totally worth it.
Yes, 100%.
Oh, well, thank you for sharing that with us today.
Well, thanks for having me. It's been fun.
As a football mom, I thought I had a busy schedule. I have been proven wrong. Dance moms, I bow down to you. You guys are rock stars. I thought that was such a fun conversation. I love chatting with you all about what different experiences motherhood brings to you. So thank you, Tracie, for coming on and sharing that with us. And to all you listeners, I am so grateful to all of you for tuning in each week. I would love it if you took the time to leave me a review, to subscribe to my YouTube channel, or come and check me out on social media. So you can find me at Burnt Pancakes with Katie. And until next week's conversation, I just want to remind moms to just keep flipping.